what? No. Oh, hello there. My name is Julian Q, and I am here with another episode of Tiger King. Last episode, we found out that may have been a possibility that Carol Baskin, that damn Carol Baskin, had to do something with the disappearance of her husband. Now, I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is that we can watch the episode and see what happens. So let's get to it.
What a story. It's so wild it must not be true. That's the first thing people think. Oh, come on.
Well, it all starts, Carol Baskin, who was Carol Lewis at the time, was married to Don Lewis.
About maybe a month or so before he disappeared, and he did mention to me that he felt his life was in danger.
There is so many strange twists in that story. You would have to write books, volumes of the stuff that went wrong there, the lies that are there. There's a lot of stories about Carol having some finger in it, but nobody can prove it.
The last day that I saw Don, he told me that he was done, that he was divorcing her, that she was one of the worst people he'd ever met in his life, and she was very dangerous.
He indicated to me that he was going to tell Carol that he wanted a divorce. Never saw him again.
And he said, "You can hold this gun on me, I just need somebody to talk to." So I picked up the gun, held it on him, and we drove around town and he talked. And I ended up spending the night with him.
But I'm gonna say Don Lewis was probably worth 20 million, maybe a little more.
I think it was closer
Jesus.
to $7 to $7.5 million is what he was worth.
I don't think anybody really knew that, but I know at least 5 million, if not 10 million.
See, he gets along with the rest of the cats real good out here, though. He just don't like people.
By going to the exotic animal auction.
We started in 1992 with the purchase of a bobcat who was going to be killed by taxidermists at an auction. The following year, we bought 56 bobcats and lynx from a fur farm. The next year, 28 bobcats and lynx. The following year, 22 more bobcats and lynx.
It's called Wildlife on Easy Street. Guests tour the sanctuary, take tons of pictures, and even help feed the cats.
To remind you, Carol, that you are the one who spent $94,000 to buy animals to fill your so-called sanctuary. You still have them there at your facility, you're still tagging them as rescues, and you're still frauding the public.
I believe that I sold Don and Carol Lewis our very first tiger in 1995. She had called me up and asked about raising baby animals, said she was going to do a how-to video.
They have to be taken this young from the mother in order to make good quality pets from them.
Don and I had differing feelings about conservation and breeding. He loved cubs, he loved breeding cats. He would go down to Costa Rica once a month, and every time he was in Costa Rica, I'd have the vet out here and I would neuter and spay as many cats as fast as I could.
There.
That is when we learned that they weren't getting along real good. He also had a girlfriend in Costa Rica.
So I think one of their main problems was she couldn't be the only one in his life.
She would have lost the cats. She would have lost everything down to the house and the car. Would have been a devastating blow.
I wish there was some way out for me. I'd say she found a way out. Wouldn't you?
He had given me a copy of the restraining order that he had filed for.
Daddy never really involved the law in anything. It was just something that he resisted. For him to go down there and write that out and present it before a judge was major.
It doesn't show stalking, it doesn't show battery, it doesn't show anything. It shows a verbal argument, and that's not enough to get an injunction.
And that's not enough to get it?
Nope. There's free speech. There's free speech. We don't restrain free speech in this country. We punish it after it's done.
Other argument that needs to be taking place, but wow.
His wife, Carol Lewis, says he was planning to transport cars to Costa Rica.
He said to be sure and get the Costa Rica truck ready because he was leaving early in morning for Miami. And that was the last thing that he said to me. The last thing he said to me was that he needed me to have Kenny get a truck ready because he was going early, he said, the next day to Costa Rica. And that was the last I saw of him, so I just don't know.
I never got to see him again after that. That was the last thing that Don Lewis ever said to me, was if I can pull this off, it will be the slickest thing I ever did in my life.
I finally got a hold of Carol. She says, do you think I should call the police? And I said, do you think?
Jack Don Lewis was last seen on August the 18th. He was reported missing on the 19th by his wife at about 1:30 in the afternoon. And after 3 or 4 days, we found his van abandoned at an airport.
With the keys still in it, his briefcase in it, but no Don Lewis.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I was told that he was pushed out of the plane, out of the door, 50 feet over the Gulf, way out.
If he had any kind of an accident out over the Gulf, we never would have found anything. Maybe he doesn't know who he is. Maybe he doesn't know where to call home.
She spent, I'm sure, a lot of time setting the stage for the dementia and the forgetfulness.
She was feeling boxed in by Don's notorious cheating.
It's no use to leave him. I wish there was some way out for me.
Everything was fine, just as sweet as wine, but her husband went and disappeared. Got a little hazy and the cops said there's something wrong here. Oh, here, kitty, kitty.
Well, Bessie, we're done. It's worth just bringing up. So the music video here, kitty.
No use, there's nothing left but tiger trap.
His own kids demanded that they DNA test the meat grinder.
We had a meat grinder. If you've ever seen a Butcher Boy meat grinder, it's about that big around. And that became like this wholly exciting thing that I ran him through that grinder, and it's like, I couldn't run his hand through the grinder, much less a body.
Hey, Carol, it's a voice from your past. Get me the fuck out from under this septic tank.
A lot of people out there that is speculating and don't have anything to back it up. But one day, somebody's going to stub their toe. There is a God. Her name is Karma. She has a sick sense of humor.
Karma's a bitch. Payback is a bitch.
Carol's brother was a member of the sheriff's department.
I never really knew my brother because, gosh, by the time I was 15, he would have been, what, 9?
I got a phone call stating that the office alarm had gone off and Carol was there. Her and Kenny Farr had cut the locks on the gate, cut the locks on the office. There were 2 wills and there were 2 power of attorneys in my office, in a box underneath my desk. The will and the power of attorney, they were all taken out of the office that day.
Who was the power of attorney on the new documents Carol produced?
Not me. That new power of attorney gave her control over the estate.
First sentence, upon my disappearance.
Is that normal verbiage?
I have, in 37 years, never seen it say, or disappearance. Never have. I don't know who anticipates, everybody anticipates her death, but who in the world anticipates disappearance?
The judge has just declared Lewis dead since he's been missing 5 years, but Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies say they will keep the case open until they have proof.
I feel the one that would benefit the most from something happening to my father is Carol.
She knows.
And what about the money in the end?
What?
We definitely did not end up with, if I had to say it, probably 10%.
You inherited only 10% of his estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
And where did the rest go?
Carol.
The ownership of money and property comes from doing things in a certain way. Those who do things in a certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally get rich.
My number one goal in life is going to be to make this woman happy.
What is with these pictures?
I would like closure.
And what about justice?
That would be nice, but I've never been a greedy person.
There's nothing that I really want to say to any of these people. They see me as a threat to their livelihood and to their ego. And there's nothing I'm going to say or do that's going to change that.
There is absolutely no physical evidence at this point in time that would point at one particular individual.
Inside Edition came to talk to us, and Hard Copy, I believe, wanted to. That's when we got the thing from Carol to stop. And if you continue talking, I will take everything away from you and your family.
Ominous. Why is it being ominous? Okay. That added a lot more to a weird backstory actually included in the series, but I think it actually is the antithesis of pretty much why Joe Exotic did what he supposedly did, what he's in jail for right now. We fall in the lives of these big cat people and how strange they are, and just we just gotta keep watching. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.